blog. Barack Obama is trying to push back against the McCain campaign. Joan Walsh, here's an example I want you to comment on.
Senator McCain and his operatives are gambling that they can distract you with smears rather than talk to you about substance. They'd rather tear our campaign down than lift this country up. That's what you do when you're out of touch, out of ideas, and running out of time.
All right, Joan, is that the right way to handle this?
I think it is, Larry. I mean, he's also talking about substance. He's talking about, you know, keeping people in their homes, ending foreclosures. He's talking about his health plan versus John McCain. So he's not just talking about the tenor of the campaign. But, you know, the Republicans deserve credit for transparency in the last week. They told us in the Washington Post, we're absolutely going to run a fear and smear campaign. They told us, as Jamal said today in the New York Daily News, if we talk about the economy, we're losing. And so it's clear that they're going to go to great lengths to really make people afraid of Barack Obama. And I think Democrats all over the country, and independents, frankly, want to see him talk back, want to see him be strong. I was really interested in something Terry said before the break. I like to give my Republican friends credit when they tell the truth, which I appreciate. Terry said some interesting things. John McCain really did not seem like a reliable, trustworthy steward of our economy and our government.
Pardon, ma'am.
You said that he needed to
act. I spoke to what
act.
John McCain should be. Do not characterize my statement because you got it wrong, lady.
You made great reference, Terry, to the fact that John McCain scared the heck out of the American people in that first debate. Barack Obama seemed steady, compassionate,
I spoke
calm,
to what he needed
and
to
had
do
a plan.
All right,
so I think John McCain should take your advice.
Let Terry respond and we can go on. Terry wants to respond quickly.
I spoke about John McCain's need to talk to the American people about the anxiety and fears that they have about the economy, to demonstrate that he can be a good commander-in-chief. I made no such allusion to the last debate.
It sounded like
Karen,
my mistake, Terry.
Karen, Sarah Palin has been playing GOP attack dog, no doubt, in the last few days. Here's on the glove-off attack, as she puts it. Here's an example from today, and we'll have Karen comment.
Today, they're saying for the first time that Barack Obama didn't know back then about Ayers' radical background. But it was only a few months ago that Barack was saying that Ayers was just a guy in my neighborhood. But wait a minute, he didn't know a few months ago that he had launched his political career in the living room of a domestic terrorist?
Hey, Greg, I'm sorry, Karen, is this a fair issue?
Well, Larry, I think the real issues obviously are the economy, but there are also issues of character and judgment. And you know, it's interesting that traditionally in these campaigns, the vice presidential candidates are usually the one who throw the sharpest elbows, and that's been the case with Senator Biden as well. He's had some very sharp things to say about Senator McCain. But in this case, you know, I've known a lot of candidates who've run for public office. I've been to a lot of fundraisers. I'm not aware of anyone else of either party who's had the first fundraiser of their political career in the living room of a domestic terrorist who has refused to apologize for his past actions. And
that's
again,
not confirmed, Karen. That's not confirmed.
Yeah, Larry, actually, in the New York Times story that ran on Sunday, there was a retired 80-year-old rabbi who said that he thinks he and his wife had the first fundraiser.
There were a series
Obama.
of meetings.
Well, it was the first or second.
So, hold on,
one at a time.
Hold on, this is important. This is important because this is the problem with the way these stories develop. There's so many holes in the story. They say that Bill Ayers got him on the Annenberg Center board. Well, there's a woman named Deborah Leff who said that she's the one who recruited Barack Obama to the Annenberg Center board. So there are a lot of holes in this story. The reality, though, is the only reason we're talking about this is because John McCain doesn't want to talk about the fact that 159,000 people lost their jobs last month. I was in Virginia over the weekend where 40,000 people have lost their jobs since George Bush has been in office, and where tuition costs have doubled in public universities. People have real problems here that they're trying to get addressed, and that's what this campaign ought to be about.
Terry, do you think a candidate for president would be a deliberate friend of a terrorist?
Yeah, well, not if he could help
it.
it. But I think that, you know, the circle...
Obviously, right? Come on.
Obviously not. But look, when you're talking about judgment, you should at least say, I was wrong, to be friends with a domestic terrorist. He's never said that. In John McCain's case, where Barack Obama is attacking John McCain for being part of the Keating Five, John McCain said it was the worst mistake of his life. He's been contrite, and you know, he's changed his entire political career as a result of that mistake. Barack Obama hasn't said one word except dodging and saying that nothing happened between
Larry,
he and this guy.
that's really the issue here, and it also goes to the heart.
Jones' turn.
Thank you, Larry. You know, he's called Ayers' past career reprehensible. They are not friends, they're colleagues. I met Bill Ayers. I lived in Chicago. Like it or not, he has become a respected member of the kind of liberal education reform circles. Let me finish, please, Terry.
Sure.
His father, thanks to his father's wealth and his father's connections, that really helped him rehabilitate himself in Chicago. And they are not friends. They do not pal around. They do not have dinner together. They were certainly on a board, and I don't feel that Obama has tried to hide that. He's spoken about it. Other people have tried. What Sarah Palin said was despicable. She said he thought the country was imperfect enough that he wanted to pal around with a domestic terrorist, implying that he thinks terrorism is the answer for our country's problems, which, of course, is the farthest thing from Barack Obama. He's known in some circles as kind of a liberal, namby-pamby guy when he was at Harvard. He was never radical enough for the radicals. So it's just such a smear that has no basis in reality.
Let me get a break. Still ahead.